And welcome back to another contract questions from clients. And today's question, I know, Robert, we've all gotten this more than once. Can't we just have some quick, short, 1 or 2 page agreement?
Yeah, and I mean, I know it can be burdensome on people when you send off a 40, 50 page document. It can seem a little overwhelming. I just think it's important to remember that, you know, the while it may seem cynical sometimes, I often tell our clients, this agreement's being drafted for the worst case scenario. It's there to have the procedures in place should the relationship fall apart. You don't want to have to be have that unknown out there. So we're trying to anticipate circumstances that hopefully never happen, that oftentimes don't happen. But there's that great saying, former Eagle Scout, or I say I am an Eagle Scout, but it's better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. So um, that's why agreements typically are a little bit longer, because you want them to be complete. You want them to address those unknowns, to have those rules so that when something happens, you can point to that exact provision and be able to know exactly how it's going to be resolved. I think it's worth pointing out one of our, um, the motto of our firm is creating simplicity, but simple doesn't mean short all the time. Um, we want the agreement to be clear. We want it to be simple and straightforward, but it needs to be complete. And sometimes, most times, that requires a little bit more than 2 pages.
Yeah. And Michael, you and I talk about this all the time about the alignment of expectations. And I think Robert's point right there was great is that yes, you could have a 2 page document, but it doesn't really align all the different issues that you really want to have. It does lead to obviously lots of misunderstandings. But I know you have some additional thoughts.
Yeah, well, first, we don't get paid by the page, so we're not fighting back because of the 1 to 2 page in of itself. But to Robert and Brad's points, you have the protective mechanism, which is what Robert mentioned, and then the whole one of the big points we talked about is everyone getting on the same page, and the risk goes up significantly if you have a 1 or 2 page document that you haven't covered the everything that needs to be covered in the relationship. Now, do we do 1 to 2 page documents sometimes? Rarely. I just did one today, as a matter of fact, but it was one of those types of contracts where there was an ability to cancel a membership and a subscription with no fee and no obligation going forward. And there wasn't a lot. Our client was basic position was, we just need something for them to sign off on that they can get their arms around and understand the general terms. But when they cancel, they cancel. And so we had to talk to our client to say and understand that when something unexpected happens, because it's likely to happen with a 1 to 2 pager, that you're going to have to learn from that and adopt. And, if the client does that, they'll probably have a full contract by the time it's all said and done.
Well, awesome. Robert, thanks again for joining us today. And we'll look forward to the next time. And thank you again for joining us. And we'll talk to you there.